and welcome back to 30 at 6 on Cecil TV. Today is Monday, November 12th. I'm Alison Donnelly.
And I'm Rob Churnside, and Alison, I am ready for winter. You know, we talked last week about winter.
We did. We talked about different ways that people, not scientifically, but people can predict what the winter will be like.
And it gets us ready for the holidays, too.
That's true. And I see you've got your headgear all prepared for the winter.
Well, you know, it's going to snow.
And how do you know?
How do I know? I did 2 scientific folk studies. The first being the stone in the jar technique as done in the great state of Tennessee. You count the foggy mornings between Labor Day and Halloween, and you get 11 stones.
Oh.
That means 11 snow events.
Okay. I don't quite understand that, but that's okay.
You probably think it's fake news and bunk. But I have other scientific ways.
I know you do.
We're going to do a correlation here.
Okay.
We are.
Right. We.
I have
Oh, we.
Willie the Woolly in my pocket. And Willie the Woolly is a part of the study.
Right.
Part of the study group we counted woolly bear caterpillars from Labor Day to Halloween and got 18 dark ones, 8 mixed color, dark and light, and 3 light ones. So using the scientific formula, Alison, of S, snow days, snow events, equals D, dark,
Okay.
minus the quantity L, light, plus 1/2 M is 18 minus 3 plus half of 8 is 4, 7, 18 minus 7 is 11.
Okay.
There's a strict 1-to-1 correlation between these 2 scientific theories.
I'm sure you've checked your math.
11 snow events, leading up, of course, to a cold winter.
Right. Well, regardless of the weather, we have a couple of things to announce, including the Northeast Christmas Parade and Cecil TV's participation in it. So
Yes.
we're excited to get our float ready, and we'll see you all there.
And we'll be throwing out surprises to the parade viewers.
Yes. It'll be great.
Speaking of Northeast, I need to announce that St. Mary Ann's, and you're probably going to say this, the Great Sin City Band will be playing there.
At the North Elk Coffee House this Saturday.
Yes. I intend to be there.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
And now for the news. In the 2018 midterm elections, Democrats picked up House and gubernatorial seats across the country. But here in Cecil County, Republicans maintain their stronghold over local offices. Bill Couts beat Cody Kirk by a margin of more than 30 points in their race for the County Council District 2 seat Council President Joyce Bowlsbey will vacate at the end of the year. Mr. Couts and Al Miller, who ran unopposed in the general election for County Council District 3, will be sworn in on December 3rd. American military veterans were honored yesterday in observance of Veterans Day. Yesterday marks 100 years since the end of World War I, which gave this day its original name, Armistice Day. In the county, the day's observances began at 6 a.m. with a bagpipe rendition of When the Battle is O'er by Brian McCandless. Later in the day, Major General Randy Taylor addressed the Perryville American Legion. We'll have more on this later in the show. Cecil College has been awarded a Maryland state grant that provides full tuition for child care providers seeking an associate degree in early childhood education or elementary education. The Child Care Career and Professional Development Fund covers all tuition, books, and fees associated with the Cecil College's Associate of Arts and Teaching degrees in both of those programs. According to Dr. Jessica Greenfield, Professor of Teacher Education at Cecil College, there is a real need for additional child care services in Cecil County, and this grant enables those providers to earn a degree without going into debt. It is a win-win situation. The Cecil County School of Technology will hold an open house on Wednesday, November 14th from 6 to 8 p.m. Stop in and check out the career and technology programs CCST has to offer. And finally, a new League of United Latin American Citizens Council will begin in Cecil County with a town hall meeting held at the Perryville Library on Saturday, November 17th from 2:30 to 4:30 p.m. And now, a word from our sponsors.
Clear. Oh no, the furnace is on the fritz again.
This time I'm calling the moon man.
Wow, he's here already?
At your service. There you go. Mission accomplished. Our house is nice and warm again. Thanks, Moon Man.
You're awesome.
You're welcome. Just go to moonairinc.com.
For out of this world service, moonairinc.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sam Charles. For 30 years, I have been practicing functional medicine and gentle chiropractic. Elkton Chiropractic Neurology is dedicated to enhancing whole body rejuvenation, whether or not you are afflicted with injury or disease. We utilize a structural, neurologic, metabolic, nutritional, and energetic approach to restoring your body to its full potential.
After coming to Dr. Charles, I'm better than I was before.
You deserve to feel good and to have an active lifestyle, so why not call Elkton Chiropractic Neurology today?
This past weekend, Veterans Day Observances across the nation and overseas honored those who served and are currently serving. Here in Cecil County, Perryville American Legion Post 135 held a ceremony that was well attended by veterans, supporters, and featured Major General Randy Taylor, Senior Commander of Aberdeen Proving Grounds. Major General Taylor praised veterans and the people who support them. He also cautioned that the job of maintaining international order is ongoing and that war is a present-day reality.
As we reflect today on the meaning of World War I, it's easy to assume that that kind of global fighting won't happen again. For example, since the end of World War II, Europe has experienced the longest period of peace in the modern era. And we have organizations like the UN and NATO and the European Union to help prevent conflict. And after the devastation of the Second World War, common logic says that that kind of war, that great power war, all-out total war, is probably not going to happen again. We'll probably come to our senses. However, I ask you not to assume that. We cannot assume that war is gone from the human experience. In fact, here, after our country has been in combat for 18 continuous years, and we still are, with the Army alone, 180,000 soldiers serving abroad today in 140 countries, many of whom are in harm's way. We are still today, as we sit here, very much a nation at war. And if you pay attention to the news, you know that international order that we established at the end of World War II is beginning to shift before our very eyes. We are facing near-peer adversaries in Europe and Asia who are committed to challenging and undermining us. And the faint clouds of a coming storm are visible on the horizon. At Aberdeen Proving Ground, our first duty to our soldiers and our nation is simply readiness for today and for tomorrow, for that storm. Because our military has absolutely no preordained right to victory.
Major General Taylor, from your perspective, what would you say to veterans to assure them that the peace that they have fought and died for is being upheld?
They can very much be assured that this current generation that's serving in the armed forces is just as good as those who've come before them, if not better. They should have no concerns about this generation that's been in 18 years of continuous combat. They will answer the nation's call when asked.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm here with Mark McMullen and Dwayne Cahill at the Perryville American Legion at the Veterans Day ceremony. What was your service?
Navy.
Army.
And how are you guys feeling on this Veterans Day?
Pretty good. I like it.
Really happy, beautiful day, great ceremony. It was really nice. You can't get any happier.
What did you think of Major General Taylor's remarks?
I liked it. He talked right about what the whole thing's about. And some people, people don't appreciate what the vets do, but some of them will when they learn.
I agree with. I mean, it's right to the point of our local people, where they work, Perry Point, they work at Aberdeen. There's a lot of service put in once you're out. You never really forget it. It makes for a great day. It really does.
Great. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Providing a musical component of the event, the Perryville High School Chamber Choir sang a medley of themes for each of the military branches.
Welcome back to 30 at 6. Cecil County Council President Joyce Bowlsbey will be retiring in December. So we've invited her into the studio to talk about and give a look back on the past 4 years. Councilwoman, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Alison. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. So before you were appointed in 2013 and then elected in 2014, you had a career in customer service and sales with Gore.
That's correct.
What led you to public service?
I've always been in public service in the background. Even when I worked full-time, I've been on a lot of boards and commissions throughout my stay, my 40 years here in Cecil County. I was very active in the Leeds PTA. I've been involved in the Arts Council, in the Chamber of Commerce. So I've always kind of had my hand in it. My husband always said, don't run for public office. You can get more done behind the scenes. But I'll tell you a little story. The night that Terry was elected, we were at the college when the votes were coming in and she won. And driving home, he said to me, I think you should take her seat.
Oh, he changed his mind.
I said, you haven't been drinking. Are you okay? And he said, no, you're the right person for the job. So that's why I applied, and Terry appointed me to that position. And then I ran to validate her choice because I thought that was really important.
Yeah.
And that's how I got into politics.
What would you say have been the highlights of the past 4 years?
The highlights of the past 4 years are the technical high school, #1. I fought for that before I was on council, and I am so thrilled that we have the Basel building to use as the technical high school. Seeing sewer pipes being put down Route 40 is another very exciting thing for me. I remember many, many years ago when Oakley Sumter was on the board of commissioners then. I was working with the commissioners to try to get that passed through, but it never quite made it. So that's something that's really important to me. I'm thrilled with the Calvert Park. I think it's a tremendous addition to Cecil County, and it's something that will be used for years and years to come. I look at the money that we invest in the county, and I use the word invest because that's what we do, as being really important for the future. And the more we can do to engage our young people, to keep them off of drugs, the more excited I am.
What does it take, do you think, to be the council president?
Patience. The art of listening is really critical. You have to be able to balance the needs of whomever is presenting an issue with the overall picture and try to make a conscious and good decision on what they're asking. The council president really just runs the meetings and directs the activities.
Right.
So it's not a difficult job, but it's a job that, like I say, requires patience. And I've learned, if you listen to tapes of the council meetings, you don't hear me say a lot.
Right.
And I do that deliberately. I try to stay, I have an opinion and I have a vote, but throughout the process, throughout the discussions, I try to stay as neutral as possible, not to influence any of the council members away from the decisions that they want to make.
What advice would you give to your successors?
Be patient and listen. I think that it's really important to understand that it's not about you. It's about the citizens, it's about the agenda, and it's about the other council members. And if they can keep that in mind, there's no need to talk for the sake of talking. There's no need to expand on issues that maybe don't necessarily need to be discussed. You can open a can of worms sometimes doing that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And so I think that, like I say, and developing a camaraderie with all the council. We all get along really well.
Right.
And I think that's really important. And the other thing that I had going for me was Alan's agenda and my agenda for the county were pretty much aligned.
Right.
And when we had his first budget, I looked at the budget and I said, it's the first time the budget's been balanced. We're not taking from the rainy day fund. This is a good budget. Some council members felt that they had to cut from it.
Just for the sake of...
For the sake of cutting from it, because they felt that was their job. And I said, I don't think so. I think this is a really good budget. And as you know, we didn't vote on the budget, so it reverted back to, well, we didn't get a vote. And so it went back to Alan intact. And so I got the budget that I wanted, which was not planned that way, but I'm really glad it worked out that way.
So what's next for you?
Oh, there's a couple of things. I still sit on a lot of boards and commissions. I sit on the CASA board, which is the court-appointed child advocates, and they've asked me to be president of that board, and I've said yes. I've also been approached by the Women's Auxiliary at the hospital, and I said to them, not this year. I need to have some time.
Right.
I sit on the board of Chimes Delaware. And I don't know if you're familiar with Chimes.
It's, well, you
want me to talk about it? It's an organization that houses, if need be. They have group housing, but they train and employ the developmentally disabled. And I've sat on that board for a very long time. It's a very worthwhile organization, and it's actually based out of Baltimore.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, but I sit on the Metro Delaware board.
Right.
I've been invited to come back to the Government Relations Committee of the Chamber, and I chaired that for 15 years. So I'll be probably doing that again. And I've also been invited to be on the Cecil Business Leaders Board. So I think I'll stay busy.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Okay, well, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. And I just would like to thank all of the citizens of Cecil County for their support of me and for the belief that I'm doing a good job. Thank you so much.
Of course. Retiring Councilwoman and Council President Joyce Bowlsbey. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sam Charles. For 30 years, I have been practicing functional medicine and gentle chiropractic. Elkton Chiropractic Neurology is dedicated to enhancing whole body rejuvenation, whether or not you are afflicted with injury or disease. We utilize a structural, neurologic, metabolic, nutritional, and energetic approach to restoring your body to its full potential.
After coming to Dr. Charles, I'm better than I was before.
You deserve to feel good and to have an active lifestyle, so why not call Elkton Chiropractic Neurology today?
Oh no, the furnace is on the fritz again.
This time I'm calling the moon man.
Wow, he's here already?
At your service. There you go. Mission accomplished. Our house is nice and warm again. Thanks, Moon Man.
You're awesome.
You're welcome. Just go to moonairinc.com.
For out of this world service, moonairinc.com.
Welcome back to 30 at 6. Our next guest is retired farmer, activist, and president of the Cecil Land Trust, Bill Kilby. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Alison.
Will you first give us a quick reminder of what the Cecil Land Trust's mission is?
Okay. The Cecil Land Trust is an organization that's been in operation for 20 years in Cecil County with the basic goal of preserving land and protecting the waters of Cecil County.
The Land Trust recently completed a feasibility study to assess the market in the 50 miles surrounding Calora. What did you find?
We found that there are 7 million people with an average household income of about $82,000, which makes it fairly affluent in today's world. And so it's from the suburbs of Philadelphia to the suburbs of Baltimore.
Right. And tell us about the Land Trust's agreement with the West Nottingham Presbyterian Church over their commercial kitchen.
Okay. Well, it's kind of an evolution. The concept of food systems in Cecil County is something that the Cecil Land Trust has been interested in since its start. And we started out with the idea, the concept of what we call agricultural enterprise zones, where you would create a critical mass for of farmers being able to sell their products directly. And part of that need in selling direct to the customers is a commercial kitchen, because there are obviously health concerns with packaging your own food. So the farmers are great producers, but not really necessarily great processors and marketers. And so the concept of the land trust was to help bring this food system concept to fruition, and part of that was the commercial kitchen idea. So instead of starting out building your own commercial kitchen, which is extremely expensive,
right,
we decided to approach organizations that had commercial kitchens already. And so West Nottingham also has a mission of serving the community it lives in, or we live in. And we went to talk to them and explain what our mission was in trying to help local farmers in processing their foods in a health department approved kitchen. And so we're currently made the arrangement, and they are leasing the kitchen by the hour to producers, and the Cecil Land Trust is acting as the facilitator or the enabler in this case of holding the permit from the health department to do this and furnishing the insurance. So an individual will be able to come in and be able to produce his particular or her particular product. In one case, there's an Amishman who wants to do ketchup, which they would need labeling and weighing and all those kinds of details that you have to have in order to sell directly to the public, and plus the health ideas. So we're moving along on the project, still trying to get final health department approval for the they've got to check your grease trap, your sewer, your water, all the details, all the details.
So the idea is that this agreement with the kitchen and the church would allow farmers to reach that market that you talked about, the 7 million people who live in the 50 miles around us. Yeah. Why is that important in this day and age?
Because we're obviously not farmers. If you follow the news, are not not doing as well as they can. I mean, to produce basic, what we call commodity foods like soybeans or milk that go into the larger world market. If you follow the tariff situation in the world, we're losing market share. And so we need to develop this concept of selling directly to the consumer. And the Kilby family has been doing that for over 10 years with our ice cream and milk.
Right.
And we do home delivery of products within that 50-mile area. And so we also home deliver for other farmers too. So there's beef that's available, there are vegetables that are available, besides the dairy products that we normally sell. And so we feel it's a good model and that we should be able to help other farmers do the same thing.
And how does this support and connect with the Land Trust focus on food security and food systems?
Well, the point of, the Land Trust found out early on that preserving the land is one thing, preserving the farmer is another thing.
Right.
And so we felt that if a farmer was interested in making an obligation to protect his farm forever, that we should make an obligation to him to help him market his foods in the best way we can. And so that's the concept that we propels us to do what we do. And so we're finding, people are really very much interested in helping one another. For instance, the church was overwhelmingly in favor of doing this, and they made it as easy as possible that they could, and really welcomed the chance to help. In this case, the church has a fair amount of Amish neighbors, and so it's become the church is doing what the church is supposed to do, I guess.
Right.
Help its neighbors.
Is there anything else going on that you'd like to tell people about?
Oh yes, there's a whole list of things that the Land Trust is also becoming involved in. The same ideas. We've protected this land, and what's the best use for it, or how can we use it to its best use? Is we now have an agreement with the Patsy DuPont Foundation, which Patsy was did a lot of youth development through equine, through riding. She had a pony club and helped a lot of kids meet their dreams of having a horse, riding a horse, even though they couldn't own a horse. They didn't have the. And so the foundation, we're in talks with the foundation now about trying to bring the concept of Patsy's Pony Club back, in order to help kids develop a passion for something, so there would be less interest in addictive behavior.
Right.
So that's the concept, and so we're kind of in the early stages of doing that. But Patsy's farm is a protected farm; it'll stay protected forever, and to use it for youth development seems like a good idea.
Right, especially in a time like this when opioid addiction is such a problem.
So we're working with we've approached the 4-H people, and we've approached the School of Technology. They have an ag science there, and they've all stated an interest in working towards a goal. I mean, we're not there yet, but we're interested in working. So, and then we're doing a regular land preservation. We've preserved a farm actually right down the road here on Crothers Road, and so we do that, and we do stream restoration also with. We're going to do a large stream restoration project in the Little Elk Creek, working with SHA, and so we're very busy.
Great, I'm glad. Bill Kilby, President of the Cecil Land Trust. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Alison.
Why should you advertise on Cecil.tv? Because it is a totally new and unique way to reach the thousands of viewers that watch our programming. Plus, you'll be helping us grow as we expand our coverage. We have exciting plans, and your business or organization can be part of it. You will find our packages and rates to be refreshingly affordable, and we'll work with you to create a fresh and dynamic ad that says and shows what your business is about. Ask us how to get your commercial produced for free, so contact us on our website, Cecil.tv, or send an email to info@Cecil.tv. Thank you.